Hello, I'm Valerie McLennan. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you may be. I hope you're well. It is the 8th of September 2025. Now, if you've been following me a while, you may be aware of the situation I had to face in the past couple of weeks. Now, since I started the channel, maybe a year past October, doesn't feel that long, I have been stressing the importance of spirituality, sorting your mindset, keeping your mind under your own control, not being dragged into others, issues, etc., etc. And I have repeated and repeated. The day will come when life will throw you a curveball and you will have to dig deep. And I have also stressed it's not an easy path to be on just because you're on the spiritual path. The only difference is you have to work really hard and remain with faith and with trust and believing that the unseen must know more than you do. Now, I was hit with one of the curveballs that I have been mentioning over the years when I'm advising you to come onto this path and make sure that your mind is as strong as it possibly can. Because each and every one of us will face situations that come out of the blue, situations that you maybe have been actually going through for a long time. There's no difference. The only thing I would stress at this part is because the situation I was in seemed to come around really quickly and I had to kind of make a decision at the end. Now, I'm not going to go into great detail because I'm not even that strong as yet. Not that strong as yet. But 2 weeks ago, I lost my beautiful Springer Spaniel. Now, anyone who has a pet will understand, I know I'm going again, will understand the kind of feeling of loss that you have because they're there with you 24 hours a day, loyalty, everything, and they're always full of fun. And you don't realize, well, I didn't realise how often I've speak to her. Maybe she was bored. For goodness sake, now you again. I would speak to her all day, and even now I still realise I won't be long. Back in a minute. Anyone with a pet will understand. So it's been dealing with an awful lot of different emotional issues over the last 2 weeks. Anyway, I wasn't intending coming back on for a little while. And then I thought, well, this is actually what I'm teaching and I'm explaining and what I have been saying to you over the months. Life will throw each and every one of us curveballs. As I'm saying this to you now, other people that I know are going through situations with their family. I barely get a day or a week, honestly, where I'm not speaking to people that I know personally or through work who are not on a daily, weekly basis facing health situations, financial situations, whatever it is, themselves or with family. Now, I'm no different, and I have said this over the last while, because you're on this path, some people tend to think, oh, it must be easy on there because you're just, flying about in a cloud. I wish I was flying in a cloud. I wish I was. All that this does, and this is the reason I thought I'll come back on today, is to prove to you that if you have to have your mind under your control, and if you have a faith or a belief, I'll tell you, and I have mentioned this previously, it's on days like today and days like yesterday and the past couple of weeks that I have been digging deep into my toolbox to carry me through. And if you remember, I have stated over the weeks and the months, the day will come if you have nothing in your toolbox that you can hold on to like an anchor. And I know, I'm just saying this in case you're thinking I'm losing my memory. I remember saying it. I did say previously, if I wasn't on this path, there have been many situations in my life that I have no idea how I would have faced it and come out the other side. You may be different. You may look through different eyes into the world. I just know that the times when I have needed my strength and my belief, I have dug deep and it has never let me down and it's carried me through. And in hindsight, many people, if they've, you've been at a funeral of family or whatever, later they might say, how on earth did I stand at a graveside? How on earth did I sit at a cremation? All of this, my belief only, is that we get a protection that comes over your mind and carries you through. You can either be aware of it or you may be oblivious to it, but it is there, whether you're oblivious or otherwise. It carries the protection, and this kind of hand of protection comes over your mind and it carries you through. You often hear people saying, don't know how I faced it. I feel I was having an out-of-body experience. I don't think it registered in my mind. Now, that's the whole entire idea. Now, people have been saying to me this last while, the people that know what I've coming through, how were you? And I'm only saying this because many of them might be facing the same thing today. And I was saying at the beginning, you obviously, when you come through something like that, when it was so sudden and you have to make those decisions, and then you have to kind of face a brand new reality, because she was with me for 12 years. So you've obviously to kind of, your whole mind, your routine, everything's kind of gone. So at the beginning, I was saying, like anybody, you feel very tearful. If anybody even just says hello, you think, oh, do you know, this kind of thing? And I thought, this is so embarrassing. I can't leave the house. I need to stay in. Because if anyone speaks to me, I just keep crying. But that's a natural, whether you're on a spiritual path or otherwise, I would think there was something wrong with me. In all honesty, spiritual or not, if I was just kind of talking normally. No. So people that know me will say, no, you certainly didn't know. I was kind of sobbing. I know. Anyway, after a couple of weeks, the stage I'm at now, people will say, how are you? Numb. I have reached a state of numbness. And to be quite honest, I hope I remain in numbness, because it's preferable to being feeling emotional all the time. Now, I had this previously when I was facing loss and deaths, etc. Now, I'm not doing this to say, woe is me, poor me. I'm just saying I know people are going through this now. And this is the whole reason for my podcast, is for days like today. And I was listening to one of my own podcasts from last year. And I had said, probably about a year ago, I was saying, you may be walking through life today and everything is hunky and macadori. Maybe hunky-dory. And you're thinking, well, I don't need it. It's only when the curveball comes, or it's only when you face a challenge, that you then think, and you have to look for something. You may look to your partner. You may look to a work colleague. You will, I can guarantee you will look beyond yourself for some kind of support. You'll be looking around, and it's an emotion. It's just a normal human characteristic. You may be different. I'm generalising. When something happens, you do tend to kind of, and you're looking for others to kind of support you emotionally, whatever it is. When you're on this path, this is the point I keep trying to make. You have worked so hard at getting your mind under your own control. Of course, you still feel emotion. There'd be something wrong if you didn't. You don't come on this path and you're just like a rock where you don't feel any kind of emotion. You're just trying to manage your way through. But you've got to go through grief. It's not good to suppress grief. If you feel like crying through grief, you must grieve. Otherwise, it's going to come out in your health. It will show somewhere. So most people, generalising, have the tears, the stage where they're kind of going through tears. Some people do it in reverse. They feel numb at the beginning. Depends what way you react. Some people feel this numbness, and then further down the line, they keep crying. Whatever way it's coming out, the emotions come out, is good. Whatever you do, do not suppress and act as if life is normal. People will be facing this every second of their lives, not their own life. That would be a bit much. That would be too much. But people will be facing situations, loss in some way or another. Anyway, so I decided to come back on because people have been very good. I've had a lot of support, thankfully, external support as well. Many who have pets, and even they've been saying to me, someone going through the situation, they suddenly look at their own, and they're going, oh, for goodness sake, because then we realise not you nor I are here forever. And I know I kept saying this in previous podcasts. I was saying I'm not saying this to be depressing. We are only here a short while. I don't know why so many people get caught up in the most ridiculous situations in life. I will not allow other people's drama to live in my head. And I've said this until I am blue in my face. I won't. And this is why you have got to keep yourself and your mind under your own control for days like today. People who are on your side will support you. People, if they're negative, an awful lot of people hand over their power to other situations where negativity, drama is all drawing away from your strength. So on days like today, your tank is empty. You have nothing. If you're not building this up and you're not refusing to let negativity or drama into your mind, when the day comes, like situations like I've just faced now, as I said, your tank will be empty. You'll be looking at other human beings who may be caught up in situations of their own. They might be dealing with other things. They're not going to be there totally for you at that time. You have only got to sort yourself out. And this is what I keep repeating. If you've not looked at this path, start looking at it. There are many, many people now coming on to this, like looking at the spiritual aspects. Some have said to me, that they were thinking, they quite like the way that I deliver the talks because I'm not focusing on any deep religion. I'm focusing on the spiritual laws, the way it works, the way to keep yourself together. And obviously I'm kind of sharing stories. I'm trying to add a little bit of humour. I know, I don't really feel like laughing at the moment, so bear with me, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? But I generally try and kind of lighten it up, use humour, tell stories, and I have had good feedback from people who are saying that some had been on this is what they call the spiritual path, and they kind of slid off. They were maybe on it previously, different stages in their life. Life had taken over. They were caught up in other things. But thankfully, they're looking at it again. They're kind of on the path again. Some who weren't even looking at this have started looking at it now because of different situations. Younger people even growing, whatever. I'm calling it younger, like late 20s, 30s, 40s. They're even looking at it now and they're saying it's good to have something, just to hear it in a kind of a light-hearted way, and they're getting it now. They're understanding the points that I'm making. Some of them was quite fun. Some of them only heard it via other people that had it on, in the house, and they were kind of listening. Listen, I don't care what way you hear it, as long as you share it, you hear it, and you pass it on. If you do listen to this, could you kindly share it? Don't be selfish and listen to all my patter and my banter by yourself. Could you kindly just go share or something? You're obviously on social media of some form. All you have to do is like and share. Costs you nothing. And it means that YouTube will start to kind of do something with it. And other people who may be looking for something will find me on social media. Not a lot to ask, I know. But anyway, as I said, I hadn't intended coming back on for a little while yet. But then I thought, this is a topic that I'm talking about, spirituality. And I'm saying when you need this, honest, I can only say it and repeat it and repeat it. If I wasn't on the path I'm on, I would have found this situation in the last two weeks even more, I can tell you, 100 times more challenging than I have. And it was even difficult enough going through a grief of any kind. But these are the days and the situations I keep saying to you, don't depend on other human beings always being there for your strength. If you can get yourself sorted, it gives you a kind of an inner confidence because you think, well, whatever happens, happens. Now, I said that to people over the years, the losses that I've had, the losses that I've, it's easy for you to say, the losses that I've had in my life with human beings, I'm talking about, and now, with my pet, my dog. Oh, these are the days that you really have to dig right into your tank to get you through this life. There's obviously, we don't know the end result, the end story. There is a reason for everything. We don't have to understand it all. We just have to use the tools that we have to keep moving forward. Don't live in Wallow City. Don't keep going down into Wallow. I'm trying to move on. I have moved on. Obviously, I would stress if you feel emotion, if you feel tearful, if you feel whatever, don't suppress any of those emotions. You've been given, as well as all the other tools that you have, emotions and tears are actually given to you. That's, in a strange way, that's another gift. You're kind of releasing that from your system. Don't suppress any kind of emotional feelings that you have. We all have to deal with these situations. As the song goes, let it go. No, but seriously, let it go. If you feel a kind of a choke-up tear, don't suppress it wherever you are. Other people, just try and deal with it then. Then some people, like I've kind of facing a kind of numbness. But this is natural. When the grieving process is there, you go through all different stages. However, as I keep saying, could you please kindly share my channel? I'm going to post this on today. If you could start sharing it, because I will be offering talks and people are kind of looking at this now. And I've got another little story to add to my toolbox because I've just come through that awful situation 2 weeks ago. I know. But as I said, I don't want to wallow. I don't want to kind of think I have walked my legs off. People say, you walk an awful lot. I say, I have every intentions of walking an awful lot. I know, you mean you're not interested. You are interested. I'm not really a great one for classes, as in, aerobics and all that kind of thing. I would go once and say, I can't bother. I don't really like those type of classes. I love to walk. And I've said this many times. I walk. I would walk with my dog. I walk prior to having my dog, and I walk prior to the other dog, and I just walk, and I'm walking again without my dog. Anyway, the other day, are you interested? Yeah, so I have been doing an average, the past, an early morning walk, maybe 7:30 in the morning-ish, and an evening walk. And at the weekend, the weekend there I might have thrown in like a little lunchtime walk. approximately between 22 and I pushed it a little bit extra, a couple of days, between 22 and 25,000 steps a day. Just saying, that's me. I'm building it up. I'm building my part. Exercise is good for your mind, your body and your spirit. And I'll tell you, walking is a key. If you have the opportunity, if you're able to walk, get out there. Thank you. Now that's me. I shall be back again. Thank you for listening. Please share my channel and look after each other. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.